I would like to welcome you back to another installment of Inside OSUIT. And with this series, I'm trying to introduce you to some of the essential people on this campus. And today I want to focus on one of the most traditional positions within any institution of higher education, and that's the position of registrar. Today I'm glad to introduce and speak with Crystal Bowles-Palacio. Crystal, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me, first off, how long have you been at OSUIT and what were you doing before you arrived here?
Well, I've been at OSUIT since October of 2011, and I have done registrar's work before OSUIT and actually at a school before that, so almost 20 years in the registrar field.
Now, Crystal, a registrar is really confusing to a lot of people. It's a position of a lot of mystery. Can you demystify that for us? Describe what a registrar does.
Sure. A registrar is actually a policy keeper or a record keeper. That's the most simplified terms. It's not always that straightforward or that simple, but those are the gists of what a registrar does.
Now, I know you don't do all the work yourself. You've got a fantastic group that you work with your team. Tell me about your team and the functions that they serve.
Absolutely. I have an assistant registrar that does a lot of the technical side of the registrar's job. What used to be done on paper for years and years, even microfiche, is now done in a student information system, and we often have several student information systems that we work with. Here at OSUIT, we work with Banner, we work with Slate, we run Cognos reports, and a lot of that technical work is done by our assistant registrar. We have a graduation coordinator that works with DegreeWorks, that runs degree audits to help our students keep on track towards graduation. We have a transcript specialist. So any transcript coming in, that person can take a look at and help decide what will transfer in as credit and what will not. But that transfer specialist also tracks some of the students that have left OSUIT, gone on to the other schools, taken a few classes, and may be able to return and get a degree at OSUIT without actually setting foot back at OSUIT. And then of course I have admissions under the registrar's belt, so we see students from the beginning to the end. We have student veterans and we have international students under the registrar's belt here at OSUIT.
You truly do represent the front door and the back door of the institution, and you work with students all the way through their educational experience. I marvel at the work that you all do. This has been a unique year, a lot of challenges, and I know that COVID-19, this whole pandemic, really affected how you operate in the registrar's office. Can you describe for me some of the changes that were necessary for you to continue to work with students to ensure their continued education?
Sure. Spring 2020 started off fantastically. Everybody was enjoying their spring, but of course, like you say, coronavirus hit. And we did a lot of scrambling, starting around spring break, trying to figure out how can we continue classes? How do we have a summer school? Can we have a summer school? What happens with fall? If you have summer school, what happens with fall? If you don't have summer school, what happens with fall? So we did a lot of scrambling with our academic calendar to try to figure out, could we have a summer, could we have a fall? We also had to do some scrambling with that spring semester. Students that were on campus are now off campus trying to finish up their classes. How do we grade those classes? We introduced pass and no pass grading to most of our classes, giving students those options, letting them choose, seeing gauge where they were at and how they were finishing their classes. We gave students extra time to finish classes. We gave students extra time to figure out their grading. There were a number of things that we had to scramble. Normally it's busy, but 2020 has been quite chaotic for the registrar's office.
Now, one of the major changes that I just marveled at was your ability to adapt the academic calendar to postpone the beginning of the summer term, which also has a domino effect with other semesters as well. Can you tell us about how that worked?
Sure. It was a lot of behind the scenes work. Once we figured out it could be done in the number of days that remained in 2020, then we did a lot of behind the scenes work trying to get the system ready, trying to change information in the system, because it doesn't just affect the calendar, it doesn't just affect the days students attend school, it affects billing, it affects the library, it affects financial aid. Everything that we did affected so many other areas. So it was a lot of scrambling, yes, it was a lot of work, but it was a shared workload, that it wasn't just our office. Many offices had to share that burden of trying to operate a summer semester and a fall semester.
Well, I think that one thing alone was one of the most effective things that we have done in order to ensure a safe return to campus, so thank you for that. Now, how has this changed the way that you communicate with students?
Well, we've always had email correspondence with students, but it was mostly as reminders. Now we've opened up a new virtual environment and we have many virtual office appointments now. And that's from the beginning when students are looking at how to be a student at OSUIT during coronavirus. We'll meet with them, we'll discuss what a student looks like, we'll discuss with them how they can submit their information online or via fax. We've opened up a lot of virtual office hours now, and that's something that, although it's a little new for us, it's something that is going to stay. We're going to continue with that because we've got new students and it's a new era now. So we're really opened up to the virtual environment in advising and re-enrolling students.
Crystal, thank you. I appreciate your time and all of the effort that's put into doing an excellent job here on the campus for our students. These are challenging times with COVID-19. We are finding a lot of creative solutions, as you can hear, within the different departments. I really want to thank all of the workers in the Registrar's office and other service areas for the jobs that they do. I hope that you join me next time as we continue to look inside OSUIT.